Let the wars begin!
With yo ho ho, it's Tale of the Toaster. Welcome to my fourth Let's Play, Robot Wars Advanced Destruction. Let's not hang around, let's explore the main menu. So we got Quickstart, which I'll show at the end of this video, Robot Workshop, which I'll show shortly, games, which I'll explain a bit later, multiplayer, which I can't do at all because I'm emulating, and even if I weren't emulating, I don't have any friends with this game, and options, which I'll do in the next episode. So let's get straight into Robot Workshop, because at the moment we've only got 3 robots, and generally we can build a robot that's better than those ones. So let's go with the classic wedge, and for power source you've got all these options, and this game doesn't have a money system, so you'd think you could just go with the best one every time. But there is one small problem, and that's the weight limit. Robots can't weigh more than 100 kilograms, so you have to bear that in mind when you're building a robot. I'm going to go with this winch motor, 800 watts, 24 volts. And for traction we got these 2 options, small wheels and caterpillar tracks. You unlock more options, I do believe, not sure how. I'm going with the caterpillar tracks. And then for armour, again you've got all these options, including Kevlar and titanium aluminium alloy, but none of the armours look any different on the robot, so you might as well just go for one that doesn't weigh that much. We'll go with Kevlar and titanium composite. So for the first weapon you've got these options, the front mounted hammer, the front mounted saw blade, which looks amazing, and the front mounted flipper. Out of those weapons, the flipper is the best. Flippers are the best type of weapon in general. And then you can also have some spikes, a saw blade, or some twin axes on the back. I'll go with the saw blade. Getting very near the weight limit now, but our robot's complete, so let's name it. I'm going to name it after my favourite word, which also sounds pretty menacing, so I think it works well for a robot. I'm calling it Chasm. So save and exit, we're done. Let's get straight into the games. Vengeance, Battle and Robot Mayhem I'll do in the next episode. Let's do Championship right now. We got these options, Tornado, Dominator 2 and Detour, but of course we built Chasm. So Championship mode, it's based around Robot Wars the 4th Wars. You start with a 3-way melee, and this is the only way in the game you can do a 3-way melee. And Robot Mayhem allows you to have more than one robot in the arena, but that's pretty different, so we'll just ignore that. I'm going to let Behemoth and 101 do the fighting themselves while I explain the arena. After this 3-way melee, there's 6 more one-on-ones to win the whole thing. So you've got these circular saws. They do a lot of damage to the opponent if you can push them into it. Arena spikes, which will flip you over if you drive over them, but you can self-right with a press of the select button, even if your robot couldn't self-right in real life. There's another circular saw there, and in each corner of the arena there's a house robot. If you push a robot into there, they'll do the damaging for you. And what do you know, 101's been defeated. There's only one more hazard to win. To explain, Behemoth was declared the winner of that battle, but we went through with it, and now we're just going to beat it. Behemoth is a fairly good robot, so I'm just going to defeat it using my weapon. Or get flipped over by it straight away. See, this is what makes flippers the best weapon in the game. As soon as you get under them, they are basically defeated right away. See Behemoth on fire, and it's like that. All robots in the game can self-right or are invertible, i.e. they have wheels or tracks on top of them, like this robot Stinger, so they can drive upside down, or they can just self-right, whether they can in real life or not. So now we've got Stinger, I want to try and show off this hazard. This is called the pit. After so many seconds, the pit will open, and then there'll be a gaping chasm, if you will, in the arena floor. You just gotta push the robot into it, and then that's a win. So let's try and use my circular saw while we wait for the pit to open. I'll just keep Stinger on top of it. The laws of gravity are ignored a bit in this game. A robot has to go fully over the pit for them to descend. See, Stinger is not in yet, somehow, and I just freed it, which was silly of me. And I nearly drove in myself as well. Come on, Stinger. Okay, you should have gone in the pit by now. I Don't want to lose this. There, Stinger's finally in the pit. Okay, so cease, that's the end of the battle. We got 5 more one-on-ones to go. I want to make sure that I battle Pussycat at some point in this championship, because to unlock a robot in this game, you have to beat them in this mode. And Pussycat is the robot I want to use for Robot Mayhem. Let's try and show off one of the house robots. I'll just use Matilda for this one. She's the easiest to push a robot into. And she'll use her tusks at the front, which is obviously a flipper, so it's going to be defeated in the same manner as always. Except I'll speed it up a bit by sawing away at Onslaught with my circular saw. Maybe I'll use the circular saws on the arena wall in the next battle. Depends who I'm fighting. But for now, let's get rid of Onslaught. It would be quicker just to use my own flipper, but if you're playing as a robot with an axe or a spike or something like that, obviously you don't have a flipper, so maybe rely on Matilda. 14 seconds left of the battle. You know what, I'll just use my own flipper now. Just want to get this done. There, Onslaught's defeated. So cease. Now who are we fighting? We're fighting Terahertz! Oh god! Terahertz is the hardest robot in the game to beat. Because, for some reason, I'm not sure why, but Chasm can't seem to get under it and flip it. So I'm using the circular saws. That should get rid of Terahertz, especially if I'm using my own circular saw, but for some reason, Chasm can't seem to get under it and flip it. I know Matilda can flip Terahertz, and probably some other robots like Chaos 2 can, but Chasm can't, and it's also quite a good pusher, Terahertz, so it's hard to beat. Terahertz wasn't supposed to be in this game, because this game's based around Robot Wars the 4th Wars, and Terahertz debuted in the 5th Wars. This game was going to use Terahertz's predecessor, Kilohertz, but that robot also competed in American TV show BattleBots, and they own the licensing to it. So they had to use the successor Terahertz instead. So let's try and defeat Plunderbird 4 using the arena spikes. I got flipped by it myself just then, but no worries, Dead Metal's actually doing some damage to it right now. That's showcasing another house robot, I guess. There, I've moved Plunderbird 4 over the spike now. There's not much it can do. I'll saw away at it a bit, I guess. So how's about I explain the controls? The controls is the aspect of this game which gets complained about the most, because they suck. There's actually 3 different control schemes you can use in this game, but they all suck. You move forwards and backwards with the D-pad, that makes sense, and you use the L button for your main weapon, with Chasm that would be the flipper, and the R button for your secondary weapon, which in Chasm's case is the circular saw. But you can't just turn left and right using the D-pad, which is strange. Instead you have to use A and B to turn left and right, which is very strange. In all 3 control schemes they make you use a different button to turn left and right. That's Dominator 2 beaten. Quite sad that we have to face Dominator 2 in the grand final, because we've already unlocked that. And I haven't unlocked Pussycat, which I really need, so I'm going to have to do that off screen now. Oh well, let's do Quickstart. And I'm playing as Terahertz. And we're facing Cassius 2. I've done a lot of attempts at recording this episode, but I've never faced Cassius 2 yet. So that's fun. So this is showing off what an axe robot's like. Obviously Terahertz uses its axe to pummel robots into oblivion. Makes sense, doesn't it? Cassius 2 has a flipper, but it's a little ineffective in this game really. It struggles to get under most of the robots in the game. It's also got a spike on the back. But yeah, and it's also quite strange that Cassius 2 is in this game in the first place, because Cassius 2 retired after the 3rd Wars, and this game's based on the 4th Wars. But no matter, one more strike of Terahertz's axe and Cassius 2 is defeated. I'll do one more quick start and then I'll end the video. So we're using Dietor against 101. 101's invertible, so I can't defeat it just by flipping it repeatedly on the spot. let's try and use the circular saws for this one, and then we'll call it a day. Before I have to try and tackle Robot Mayhem mode, which, not kidding, it's hard as nails. But there we go, that should be 101 soundly defeated. Just put it up against the circular saw and that's it. So, watch as the audience cheers this fantastic and frantic battle. It's ever so exciting, isn't it? 101 smoking. I'm not going to flip it because that would move it away from the circular saws. Well, I'm smoking myself, but 101 is now defeated. Cease. That is the end of the battle. Dietor wins. And that's it for this video. So in the next episode, I'm going to show off Vengeance Battle, Robot Mayhem, and the options. See you then.